We mumble our affirmations and follow Zack towards the trees. We settle into the grove of trees. Both Leanna and Amelia stand on either side of me. Zack selects a tree far enough away to not be affected by any stray magic, but close enough to get a good view of what's going on. Kara, on the other hand, hangs back towards the outskirts of the trees. Zack looks back at her, an amused smile on his lips.
You'll miss the show from back there. You sure you don't want to come any closer?
Kara's voice is distant because she's far away.
Yep.
There's a bit of movement as she takes another step back behind a tree. Is she okay? Scoop myself closer to her, or leave her be. I'm just gonna leave her be. She's gonna be weird all on her own. I guess this whole magic portal business makes her nervous. It's understandable since she's not accustomed to magic like Leanna or Amelia. Amelia studies the notes, then nods to herself and snaps the book shut.
The casting is quite simple. It is the same technique as any other cast.
Fantastic. How do I do that? Leanna looks at me.
Are you ready?
I nod. Amelia glances at my stance, then frowns.
Your stance is incorrect. Straighten your spine.
I lengthen my spine and stand as straight as I can.
Now you are too tense. Keep yourself relaxed, but do not slump.
Okay. I release some of the tension in my back. She's about to speak again, but Leanna gently pulls Amelia to the side.
Okay, I think he gets it.
She steps in front of me and gives me an encouraging smile.
Your stance is fine. Just remember to raise your arms in front of you.
I do as she says, and she nods.
Now the actual casting part is gonna sound tricky. You'll need to focus your mind on the spell you want to cast.
So, I should just think about temporal rifts?
Yes, but you need to connect that thought with the magical energy. Clear your mind of every thought.
I close my eyes and push away all of my doubts and confusion and focus on Leanna's voice.
Now, think about the rift that you wish to create.
I imagine tearing a hole in the fabric of reality. I don't actually know what a rift would look like or feel like. All I remember is the bright light. Should I focus on that light? I'm not sure. Do I want to focus on that light, or is there something else that I should be focusing on? Is a rift something different? What if that light's not the right thing I should focus on and I'm doing this all wrong? Wait, no, I'm doubting again. No, clear my mind and just focus on the rift.
At the same time, sense for the magic within you.
I try to sense for any kind of magic, but nothing feels out of the ordinary. How do I know where the magic is?
It'll feel like a tendril or willing warmth. When you find it, reach out for it and grab hold. The magic is eager to be used and will latch on.
Focus on what Leanna says. I wish women were more like my magic. This is stupid. Well, as funny as these two are, I'm just gonna focus on what she's saying. This is so abstract, but I know I can do it. I just have to focus. I turn within and regulate my breathing. This sounds very similar to meditation, so perhaps using the same technique will yield results or yield success. As my breathing becomes slow and steady, I open up my senses for any indication of another presence.
Once you find the magic, connect your thoughts of the rift with the magic, and then channel both the magic and the thoughts through your hands to cast it in the open.
I continue sensing, hoping to even find a hint of warmth. But how do I know if it's just my own warmth or the magic? Sweat beads on my temples as I strain to cast, but nothing happens. Eventually, my arms grow weary and my mind is exhausted. I decompress with a sigh. It didn't work.
It's okay, we can try again. People aren't usually able to cast on their first try.
Well, that makes me feel a little better, especially coming from you. I mentally groan. The idea of doing all that again does not thrill me. There must still be something I'm missing.
It just takes some getting used to. Plus, you're trying to cast without a manipulator.
Oh yeah. Both you and Amelia use manipulators to cast. Maybe that's why I wasn't able to do it.
Well, the manipulator's function is to house the energy source for us to cast with. Technically, because you already have the energy within you, you shouldn't need a manipulator.
Oh.
But this is all theory anyway. It may be easier trying to cast using a crystal, especially for a first-time caster.
Regardless, there could be a multitude of factors for why this attempt was not successful. One for which could be as simple as the fact that you still did not possess enough energy to open the rift.
Is another one my own incompetence? Is that where you're going with this too? That's another potential one? Shouldn't the temple have had enough?
Theoretically, perhaps, but a significant portion of the energy was already being used to sustain the elemental's image. She was able to transfer what was left of the energy to you, which from my readings was only 20% of the total energy in the temple when we started.
So, in retrospect, not a whole lot was given to me. Where did you come from? Suddenly, Kara is standing right beside us, as cheerful as ever.
That sounds like you all still need to explore some more temples.
I jump at her presence. Even Leanna and Amelia seem surprised to see her so close. Only Zach is unaffected, and to make Amelia jump, that's surprising. How did you get here so fast? She grins at me.
Am I wrong?
You're not answering my question. How did you get here so fast? We're ignoring that, aren't we? The Pongo jumps out of Kara's arms and hops into mine.
Boy!
I pat him on the head when he giggles contently, licking the air around me. So, if he's doing that, that means I did kind of do a little bit of casting or had some sort of magic happen, because he doesn't normally just lick the air around me unless it's residual magic. So, a sign that I'm kind of sort of starting to cast? Maybe? Let me know what you think in the comments down below.
So it could be that he doesn't know how to cast, or that he doesn't have enough energy.
Sure, but what does that mean for you all in terms of next steps? Are you going to hang out in Ember Mist until he learns how to cast?
It could take him weeks before he can even cast the simplest of spells. That is quite a long time to rely on someone else's hospitality.
Fair point you make there, waifu.
It sounds like it would still be in your best interest to visit at least one more temple just to be sure you have enough energy. You can teach him how to cast on the way, so by the time he gets there, he'll be ready to go.
Leanna looks thoughtful. It's not a bad plan.
That does seem like the better option than the alternative.
If it's the fastest way to get me back home, then I'm not opposed to having all our bases covered. Amelia nods.
That is the most efficient course of action. If we can mitigate any uncertain factors, then we can pinpoint where the weakness is and adjust accordingly for a successful cast. The research this will provide will be very informative.
Hearing Amelia's affirmation, Zack shrugs.
Since I'm here to protect Amelia, I go where she goes.
And at the end of the day, you get paid. Kara smiles broadly and slings her arms around Zack and Amelia, much to their dismay.
Great. Then our arrangement is still on.
Hey!
Zack moves out of Kara's grasp. She smirks.
Most men would be thrilled to have a pretty woman hug them. Right, Amelia?
That is correct. A healthy physique is inherently attractive for potential mates.
Kara lets go and starts to lead the way out of the forest.
We should spend the night in Ember Mist. We can plan our next steps there.
That's a good plan. Rather than standing out here just doing nothing. Once we are in agreement, we follow Kara back to Ember Mist. Upon arriving, we head to the inn. This place has an inn?
We can spend the night here. I'll meet you back down in the lobby in a few minutes.
This is quite literally the Lost City. How does it have an inn? She ventures upstairs while we secure 2 rooms with the innkeeper. As we receive our keys, Amelia excuses herself.
I wish to seek an audience with Elder Isum and continue our discussion. I would be remiss to let such an opportunity pass.
He seems like a good guy, but maybe we keep the fact that I'm not from here a secret?
Yes, that is something in which we are in agreement.
Oh, okay, good. As you were. Go about your business. She nods and leaves the inn. The decor of the inn is very similar to Elder Isum's hut. Pillows and rugs line the ground as a few people sit cross-legged in front of the fire. A few tables line the other side of the lobby, all of which are empty. In fact, aside from the couple of people chatting by the fire, this place is very empty. Once I sit down, I feel a fatigue pass over me, but I try to shake it off. I guess they don't see too many visitors here.
For a city that's supposed to be so secret, that's not surprising. It's more surprising that they have an inn.
I know, right? I nod and stifle a yawn. We sit at a table as Zack orders us dinner. After a few minutes, Kara returns.
Where's Amelia?
She went to speak with Elder Isum. She nods. Just one of those understands, makes sense, not gonna ask any more questions. My eyelids droop and I'm stifling yawns every few minutes. My limbs feel like leaded weights and it's taking all of my effort to sit upright. After I let out a wide yawn, Leanna glances over at me.
Maybe you should go to bed. We're winding down anyway, so it'd be a good idea to get some rest.
I nod blearily. That sounds really good right now. I guess absorbing all that energy really takes it out of you, huh? She smiles at my joke.
It would seem so.
Regardless, I'm grateful for the excuse to leave. I trot upstairs and fumble with the key before opening the door. Then, I fall onto one of the twin cots and pass out as soon as my head hits the pillow. Really wiped out after all that exploring. It's been quite a day. It has definitely been quite a day. Light filters through the window and gently pulls me out of my slumber. Slowly, I push myself up in bed and glance over to see Zack strapping on his dischargers. He notices me sit up.
Hey,
Hey,
we're meeting downstairs in a few minutes.
all right. Typical morning greeting. As Zack finishes gathering his things, I begin to get ready to go downstairs. The group gathers down in the lobby. I greet everyone and turn to Amelia. How was your chat with Elder Isum yesterday?
We had a very productive discussion. In fact, Elder Isum shared more of his journals with me.
She indicates the scrolls in her arms. Wow. He just gave those to you?
No, these are copies I wrote to bring back with me to the academy.
Did you just say you copied all of that overnight? We stare at Amelia. She spent all night writing those? Apparently she did.
That's a lot of dedication.
Amelia continues.
Regardless, we discussed more on the theory of temporal rifts and the elementals, which has only strengthened my concern that we do not have enough energy.
Then that definitely means we need to seek out another temple.
Do we have a lead on where to go?
Elder Ism, through his research into the elements, did mention that historically, the Gaians, the people who originally worshipped the Earth Elemental, used to reside in the central woodlands of Assyria. The Kali, the people who worshipped the Wind Elemental, resided in the northern aerial plains. Therefore, it is most logical that the Earth and Wind Temple will be located in those respective regions.
What about the water or shadow temple? She shakes her head.
The Aquarians, those who worshipped the water elemental, depended heavily on the seas. As such, Elder Ism was unable to pinpoint where the cultural hub of their society might have been.
That makes sense.
As for Shadow, that is a complete unknown.
No surprise there.
If the Earth Temple is somewhere centrally located, then that would be the temple closest to us.
Leanna nods.
The fastest way back will be to take the crystal rail, so we should return to Bazada.
With our next course of action in place, we finish up at the inn and get ready to depart. Elder Ism sees us off, much to the delight of Amelia. We retreat back through the forest. Oh, great. Gotta go back through the Forest of Sorrows. Fantastic. Leanna stays by my side the whole way through, still unsettled by the forest. Don't worry, waifu. I'ma hold you close. I'll keep you safe. Luckily, nothing unfavorable happens and we quickly make it through. Though nothing unfavorable happened last time, just Leanna getting a little spooked. As we return to Pizzada, I can hear the raucous sounds of this marketplace city long before I see it. Raucous, I think it's raucous sounds? Sounds about right. We pass through the familiar city gates and return to the early bustle of the city.
Let's pause here and take a moment to restock. There are a few items I'd like to pick up, which may be helpful.
Good idea. Why don't we all make sure we have everything we need, and then meet at the Crystal Rail station?
Not a bad plan. Gotta make sure we're stocked up, especially in the marketplace where you can find pretty much anything. We all agree and split up. I spend some time browsing through the stalls again. Afterwards, I head over to the station to meet back up with the group. I'm the first to arrive at the station, but Kara shows up only a few minutes later. As the rest of the team gradually trickles in, Kara appears at the station list.
The end of the line is Stonecrest, so that's where we should go. Once we arrive there, I'll scout around and find our next course of action.
Is that going to be the most centrally located area? That would sound like the place to be then.
We want to reach as close to Central as possible, so traveling to the end of the Crystal Rail is a good first step.
Apparently it is. Once we had a semblance of a plan put together, we purchased our tickets. Oh great, I just realized this trip's going to be very long. After the train pulls into the station, we all board and begin our journey. After traveling on the train for 2 days, we finally arrive in the city, a long time on a train. I squint at the midday sun and join the others as we quickly disembark the train, grateful for a chance to stretch our legs. Oh, I entirely understand that. If I'm on a bus or in a car or on an airplane, I definitely look forward to being able to stand up and stretch every so often because it gets a little cramped.
Here we are, Stonecrest.
The bounce physics. Kara pulls her arms overhead in a stretch, forcing her chest out. Zack's eyes are immediately drawn to her. She smirks at Zack, who quickly averts his gaze and stares hard at a random cobble on the street. He saw what I saw, and we all saw. The town doesn't differ much from the other towns we've seen so far. It is made up of the same stone buildings and cobblestone paths. People wander in and out of the shops, going about their daily lives. The first thing we do is find and enter the inn. Alright, so now that we're here, how do we figure out where to go next? Kara grins.
Just leave it to me. I'll ask around and see if I can come up with anything.
I'll keep my eyes and ears open just in case I hear something too.
Kara shakes her head.
You should relax and enjoy the city. I've got some contacts I'm going to reach out to, so I've got this.
Oh, well, if you're sure.
Kara nods.
I already have a few ideas and leads based on some of my previous scoutings for temples and hidden relics.
Okay, then let's meet back here in a few hours to regroup.
Works for me.
Amelia nods distractedly. What's got her distracted?
Now that we have something of a plan, I'll be heading off.
Me too.
Kara and Leanna leave while everyone else stirs. I don't have anything pressing to do. I wonder if I can help or hang out with someone. Let's see. Our options are go find Leanna, look for Amelia. I bet Zack is at the inn. Let's find Kara, or I'm ready to call it. Now I'm going to start from the top here, and we're going to start by going out to find Leanna. Spend some time with the waifu. Kara seems to already have an idea of where she wants to go. Maybe I can hang out with Leanna. I check the surrounding streets and come upon a statue. Leanna stands right before it. Hey! She smiles as I approach.
Hey!
I look back at the statue of a woman. She stands in a regal pose, overlooking the town square. She's decked out in armor with a sword hanging by her side. Who's that?
That is Elena Vale. She was a Mage-Knight who fought to protect her city against the advancement of Void.
Leanna's eyes sparkle with admiration as she looks at the statue. She tucks a lock of her hair behind her ear. That's pretty cool. I'm guessing she's from here? Leanna nods.
She was still studying at the academy to become a Mage-Knight, but happens to be home when Void attacked. They didn't have the same type of training regimen in place back then as we do now. Normal townsfolk weren't trained or prepared to fight in a battle, and it was absolute chaos. Scouts by the gate spotted the advancement of a Void troop coming to the town, which caused panic. Elena quickly took charge and tried to calm the people down. Thinking on her feet, she asked for volunteers to help evacuate families from the city, and others to help set up barricades and defenses in town to slow down the Void advancement. Those who stayed to fight knew what the consequences would be, but Elena's unfaltering bravery rallied them. Together they found whatever they could to block off the streets and alleyways. That way, they could at least try to control where the fights happened.
And give themselves some sort of favorable ground, maybe.
And then, Void entered the town.
That must have been a bloodbath. Leanna grimaces. Not good.
It wasn't pretty. These weren't trained soldiers, but still, they persevered for their town. Elena and a team of guards sought out the leader of Void, who was hidden in the back lines. They used hidden passageways in the town to quickly reach him. Using her magic and training, she was a formidable match during the skirmish. And at one point, she even had the upper hand. When the leader realized that he may be cut down, he cowardly tried to retreat.
As most villains do.
He cast a line of shadow fire between himself and Elena, which stretched across the road. It burned both any Void followers and townsmen alike who were caught in the crossfire.
She begins to speak in awe.
But that did not stop Elena. She leaped through the dark flames and ran her sword straight through him.
What a badass. That is so reckless. Now, this is my initial thought. That is badass. My mouth drops. That is so badass. Leanna grins broadly, her eyes sparkling.
It was, and a huge morale boost for anyone who witnessed it, too.
I can imagine. She literally jumped through fire. I'm assuming that was the fatal blow that killed the leader? Leanna nods, but I don't like that face.
Unfortunately, shadow fire is far more deadly than regular fire, and it proved to be fatal.
Oh no. She sacrificed her life to save the people of her town. That's admirable. It really is. What happened then?
With the Void Leader defeated, the rest of the followers broke down and either fled or surrendered. Thanks to Elena, this town wasn't taken over.
You seem to know a lot about her. Leanna brightens up again.
Of course, she's such an inspiration. There aren't many Mage-Knights who are women. While Elena may not have been one of the heroes of Asaria, who defeated and ended the conflict with Void, she still made just as big an impact to the people of this town.
And that's truly what matters, is that she was an influence to the people here, in her hometown.
To me, Elena embodies what it means to be a Mage-Knight. Being a student didn't stop her. She still did everything possible to protect those who needed it.
Which means she was following her teachings. If she was being taught how to protect and save people, she did exactly that. She doesn't need an official title. Is that why you became a Mage-Knight?
It's one of the reasons. Elena showed me that no deed is too small to make an impact on someone. As a Mage-Knight, I get sent on missions all over Heavengard. I feel like I can make more of a difference than if I were just a research mage.
I can see her train of thought on that. She grins.
Plus, getting to travel around and meet new people isn't so bad.
How does your family feel about you traveling so much?
While they don't think it's ideal, it's something they're already used to.
Oh? Leanna nods.
My older brother is also a Mage-Knight.
Oh, so you kind of followed in his footsteps?
I guess you could say that.
Do you two get along? She thinks, then nods slowly.
Yeah, we do actually.
He must have been really happy to hear you've become a Mage-Knight, too. Why did you stop looking at me? I don't like when you don't look at me. Leanna shifts her gaze away and smooths her skirt. When she looks back up, she seems too cheerful.
Well, that's a long enough break. I should go and help Kara with the search. I know she said we didn't have to, but investigating is part of what I do.
You're ignoring my question. Why are you ignoring my question?
I'll meet you back at the inn.
Why are you dodging my question? That was a fast change in her demeanor. It must have been something I said. Oh, all right. I'll keep looking around too. She flashes me one last smile before quickly disappearing down the street. I guess I'd better get a move on as well. That was a strange way to end that conversation. With that done, I think about my next steps. So we have look for Amelia. I bet Zach is at the inn, or let's find Kara, or call it on in, and we're going to continue on with our next steps. Next time, I'm going to end the episode here. As always, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button down below or leaving a comment. It really does help me out. And if you're new to the channel, or have not done so already, make sure to unleash your power by hitting the subscribe button down below today as well. And I will see all you heroes in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.